I downloaded Fortnite outside the EU. This is my iPad without the trick shown in the video. This is my iPad with the trick shown in the video. To join me on the battle bus, start by opening Settings, General, About. The first requirement is your iOS or iPadOS must be iOS 18. If you only see iOS 17 in your settings, I have a 60-second video on how to get iOS 18 in the description. Watch that, update, follow this video. If you tap the 18.0, you can see your build number. I'm running beta 6. Future betas may not work. I'll have in the description. If there's a red X, this video has been patched by Apple. If there's a green tick, you can continue. Number 2, we need to have a Wi-Fi iPad. Now, iPhones and cellular iPads have extra security, so this video is iPad only for now. Check my channel regularly as I may upload the iPhone and cellular iPad solution in the future. Number 3, you will need a router which allows you to connect to VPNs directly. If you have the money and want to make your life easy, this is the exact router I have. I'll put the link in the description so the instructions will be step by step for you. If you don't have the TP-Link Deco router, most routers should work. A router provides internet to your iPad, your phone, all your devices. Find a router in your home. On the back of the router, it should have the login details for a website you can access to log into your router. Or newer routers will have an app which you can download, and as long as you are connected to your Wi-Fi, it will instantly log you in. You may need to consult Google or YouTube if you need help logging into your router and finding the VPN settings. Not all routers will allow you to connect to a VPN, so you may want to buy my router or buy a router which can connect to VPN, as this is essential for this solution. Number 4, you will need access to a Windows or Mac computer. Final thing, we need to factory reset this iPad, which will lose all of our data. Do not factory reset your iPad if you're unhappy with losing your data. I do not factory reset my work iPad. Instead, I have this iPad which just says games, so it's alright if I factory reset at any time. Real quick, this Fortnite solution took me 12 hours to make, including recording and editing. This video took over 24 hours straight, no sleep. So if you could poke a like and subscribe, that would be awesome. If you need help with any step in this video, I'll have my support Discord in the description. I'll be on it between 6 to 8 PM UK time. I'll put the other time zones on screen. Ask me any questions or ask any of the community there for help. If you can't meet requirements, I'd recommend watching this full video to see what you're missing out on. It's a pretty cool solution. However, if you don't want to follow this solution, I do have some good news for you. Fortnite is coming to the UK in mid-2025. Fortnite may come to the US in 2025, 2026, 2027, as the United States are currently suing Apple. Any other countries may pass laws which force Apple to allow sideloading in your country. If we have the green light, we first need to log into our router. For me, I just open my app. Once you're logged into your router website or you're in your router's app, we need to look for the VPN setting. So with the TP-Link Deco, you just tap on More, then you select the VPN option, then we will select the VPN client, and then we need to add a VPN server. So Deco is really good because I can add a Surfshark account and it will automatically provide the VPN login. This is the easiest way. If your router doesn't support importing an account, and you have to manually import a OpenVPN. This is also a free option if you don't want to pay. You need to input your username, password, config file. To find this stuff, this video will be using a Sweden server, so do the following. You Google for free OpenVPN, then the country will be using Sweden, and I found this website here, and so we tap on this one, and what you're looking for is just a download. You see UDP or TCP, one of these. You want to download this, remember the username and password, import this to your router, and you're good to go. Again, I'm showing Surfshark because it isn't all this hassle, but if you have to, do this. As each router is different, you kind of have to figure this one out yourself, but if you have the TP-Link Deco, well then I'll show you how to import an account, which is nice and easy. With TP-Link Deco, I can sign into my Surfshark account. This is a paid VPN. I'll put a link in the description if you want to buy it. There is a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee with Surfshark. This is great for if you follow this video and something isn't working, you can just refund the VPN and then you won't lose any of your money. The Surfshark link in the description is an affiliate link which helps supports me and the channel, but if you don't want to support me, just go to the Surfshark's website directly. They cost the same price with my affiliate link or not. So for me, I'm going to sign into my Surfshark account. Once we signed in, we need to select a country which is in the European Union. For the country I'll be showing this video, which is Sweden. So we'll be using Sweden, we'll be creating a Sweden Apple ID, we'll even install a Sweden VPN on the iPad. It's all covered in the video. Under VPN type, you want this one to be OpenVPN. It's set by default, you can't change it. And use the TCP or UDP, doesn't matter. And then tap on save to save your changes. Now wait for your VPN to connect to your router. Once it's connected, all of your devices will be on the VPN even though you don't have any VPN apps. Now Google my IP, look for any of these IP websites, and we just want to verify that the VPN is working and it shows us as being in Sweden. So if one website doesn't work, we'll try another one. It shows I'm in Stockholm, Sweden. I am not, I'm in England right now. So that's great, we can then proceed with the video. Once we verified the VPN on our router is functioning as expected, we'll turn it off for now, we'll need it later, but if it's off, the internet will be faster. We now need to sign out of our existing iCloud account. We will then create a new iCloud account for this process. So open your settings, then tap your name at the top left, then scroll to the very bottom and select the sign out. We will now need to enter in our login, then select the turn off to turn off your Find My. Please note that you will lose your data. Once we sign out off of the device itself, it will still remain in the cloud. Once we're signed out of iCloud, we'll select our Apple account and then we will select don't have an Apple account. Then we can now create a new one. So we need to enter in our name, and under birthday, you must set this to 18 plus. So I'll put my real birthday in, which is April 2004, April 7th. So I'm over 18, no problem. You make sure your age is over 18. Now under email address, we will select don't have an email address. Because we set up iCloud in the settings app, we can actually use an iCloud email. Otherwise you need to use your own. So we'll select don't have email address, get an iCloud email address, and then we'll use an email address. Under the password, I'd use the same password as your other Apple ID, so it's easy to remember. Under phone number, we want to use our real phone number. You can use the same number as your other Apple ID. So I'm going to select my country code and then my number. Then verify your phone number with the code you get. You don't want to tap the continue button. It seems weird. Don't tap continue, just enter in the code, then it'll put you on the next screen. Now it will proceed to sign you in. Now our Apple ID is created, we need to change the region to Sweden, or if you have a VPN which doesn't have Sweden, whatever country in the EU that VPN has. So we open the App Store, we then select our account at the top right. We should see our email. If not, sign out, sign in with your new Apple ID, and then tap your new Apple ID at the top. Then select the country/region, then select change country or region. Now you want to choose Sweden or whatever EU country that you have on a VPN. For the rest of this video, when I refer to Sweden, just use the country you have, and then we'll agree to the terms and conditions. Now we see payment method. We're going to select none, and now we need to add a billing address. If you Google fake address generator Sweden, find any of these websites, these will have information that you can fill in. The only thing you fill with your real details is your phone number, so make sure this is your real phone number. The rest needs to be the fake details on the fake address generator. Once done, we need to download a VPN app which has the same country that we're using on our router. So my router has the Sweden server, so I need to find a VPN which has the Sweden server. Now conveniently, Surfshark is also an App Store app. So if it already says open, you need to delete it from your iPad, and we need to make sure that we install it from the App Store. You can use any VPN you like. It must meet the requirements earlier. Make sure you install this now. You'll understand why it's needed later. We install an app now because it says this Apple ID account has not been used yet. So we tap on review. We agree to the terms and conditions. We select next. We then tap next again. We see Apple account completed. Great. We'll tap continue. And we're just going to make sure that that VPN, which we need to use later in the video, is downloaded. Once this is done, we now need to move to our computer, and I'll show you what we need to do on the computer. The first software is iTunes. Only download iTunes if you have a Windows computer, and follow me closely. We don't want to download the Get It from Microsoft. Instead, we select looking for other versions, then click Windows, and we want to download the iTunes for Windows Now 64-bit. Download this, set it up. Once it's set up, you do need to go into the Start menu, and then you need to restart your computer so that the drivers are fully installed on your Windows. We then need to download the free tools. Everything I show in this video with free tools 100% works on Windows. There is a Mac version. It's not guaranteed the steps I show in free tools on Windows will work on Mac. So we'll click the Windows download. Try on Mac if you only have a Mac, but do note there's no guarantees. Once free tools has been downloaded, set it up and then open the software. Now we're going to connect our device to the computer. We're going to make sure it connects before we actually do the factory reset. So we're going to connect our charging cable to the computer. And you notice this, it plugs in and it unplugs immediately. The problem is I'm using a USB-C to USB-C cable, which doesn't properly work on my Windows laptop. So instead, I'll use a USB-A cable on my computer, USB-C to connect to my iPad. Once connected, you need to unlock your iPad, and there should be a trust message. If so, tap on trust and then enter in your passcode if you have one, and then your iPad should be recognized. If it's not recognized, there should be an option to repair the drivers. You want to repair the drivers. Make sure this works and you're connected. Once we can verify that the free tools is working just fine with detecting the iPad, we now need to download the VPN that we installed on our iPad, and we can install it through the free tools. So we're going to go into the apps. We see unbound Apple ID, and so we're going to bind the Apple ID we created. So we do need to enter in our Apple ID and password to free tools. However, the good news is we're giving them the new Apple ID we just created. This is not going to be sent to free tools. It's only sent to Apple. You can see it's encrypted. Free tools is safe. It's a new Apple ID, so there's nothing to worry about. Make sure you tick the I have read and agree to the disclaimer, and then click the bind option. And we want to make sure this logs in. The reason why we log in first before factory resetting is because we need to approve the sign-in request using our iPad. Now says succeeded to bind Apple ID. Click the OK option. We will click on OK. And if it still says unbound, we'll click bind again. We can now see the Apple ID is binded, and we can then click on OK, and now our Apple ID is binded. So now in the search, we need to search for that VPN we downloaded earlier. So we're going to search for, in my case, Surfshark, and we're going to download this one. It says it's already installed for me, so just click installed if you don't see a download icon, and then click the install. And now in our downloads manager, under the task, we can see the Surfshark VPN, whatever VPN. You need to download something here. It will make sense in a moment, but I'm using Surfshark. And so we just want to patiently wait for the Surfshark to fully download. Once downloaded, check your apps section and just make sure that Surfshark shows up right here. It's going to automatically reinstall it to our iPad. That's fine. We don't actually need it right now. We will install Surfshark from free tools later on in the video. So we'll exit our downloads. We will then unplug the iPad from the computer. We need to plug it back in later. If you see another sign-in request, just tap allow and dismiss it. We now need to factory reset our iPad so that we can proceed with the installation of Fortnite. So we're going to open the settings, then we will select General, then we will scroll all the way down until you see Transfer or Reset iPad. And before I proceed, if you have data which you don't want to lose, do not follow with this video. Keep your iPad's data, maybe get another iPad in the future and follow this video on that iPad. Once you understand you will lose all of your data, we'll tap the Erase All Content and Settings. We will then tap on Continue and then Erase. We'll skip the backup. We need to enter in our password, tap the Turn Off, and wait for the iPad to do its factory reset. Once the iPad is factory reset, do not set it up yet. So the first thing we need to do is we will now turn on the VPN for our router. We'll make sure it's fully connected. If you have an app, it's best to close out the app and then reopen the app and just verify 100% the VPN is connected. So now it says connected, we can proceed. If you do any steps after this point incorrectly, you will need to factory reset your iPad again and then try the steps I show again. So it's not a big deal. If something doesn't work, factory reset again, try everything again. Once the VPN is connected on the router, we will get our iPad here. We're going to swipe up and we don't want to fully set up the iPad. We just want to do two things. Number one, we'll select our language. And then number two, in your country or region, you want to set the country of which your VPN is being used for. So in my case, it's Sweden. So we'll scroll down, we'll look for the Sweden, and we'll select this one. We'll wait for it to set the language. Once it's set the language, doesn't matter what you see here, we're just going to sleep the iPad with the lock button. We are then going to connect it back to the computer. Once connected, we're going to click on the Smart Flash. We will then click the Pro Flash option. We will then click the Got It message here. And then we want to click on the Activate Now option. One quick thing, if you don't see the option to auto activate here, you want to tick this box here. So tick this, make sure Skip Setup is also ticked here. And then you just click Yes. And you may need to unplug and replug your device multiple times for it to do its job. So click Activate Now. If it says activated, great. If not, tick this one, then tick Skip Setup. This is extremely important. Without this video actually doesn't work. So thank you Free Tools for this option. And if it says, you want to connect to Wi-Fi, just click Cancel and then click Start to skip the setup. Now in this case, it brought me immediately to the home screen. This is perfectly fine. However, in other cases, it glitches out the setup screen, so I want to show you how that looks like. Now, we need to make sure our iPad stays plugged in, and we'll go back to our Free Tools, and we'll head out of the batch activation. We need to click the download icon at the top right, and here is that VPN or the app we downloaded earlier. So we'll click the tick for that app, and then we'll click the install option. And so now it's going to install the Surfshark VPN to my device. So once the app is installed, we don't actually need a computer anymore. Unless any of the future steps don't work, which means we'd have to factory reset, do everything from the factory reset onwards again. Now we can get rid of the computer. Now we can just go to the iPad only. So before we proceed, just verify again that your router is connected to the European Union VPN. If you skip this part, you're hard, just note I've tested everything. If you skip this, it just won't work. So we now need to connect to Wi-Fi on the iPad 10 itself. So we'll just head to our Wi-Fi, connect to the network as you normally would. Don't make my mistake of putting your Apple ID password in your Wi-Fi password field. So once we are connected to Wi-Fi, we'll now tap on the Surfshark and it's going to want us to sign in to the App Store. If we sign into the App Store through this way, the device doesn't update the region, which means it still thinks we're in the EU, which means we can get the Fortnite, but we have to sign in. So let's tap on the sign in option and then it should ask for our password. So this is your Apple ID password. So you enter this password in. Once entered in, it's going to want the two-factor authentication. Now, I want you to have your device or whatever router you have on the VPN screen. So from my testing, with Surfshark, with the Deco, I am unable to sign in with my Apple ID if the VPN is off. So what we're going to do, you may not have to do this. You can always test, go to settings, see if it lets you. It should show the two-factor code regardless. However, once we enter it in, if the VPN's still on, for me it won't work. So we're going to turn off the VPN. We're going to very quickly enter in this code, and then we need to wait for the app we installed to open up. So in my case, it's the Surfshark. If we see problem connecting to the server, we'll try again. I'm trying again without that VPN on, as you saw. Now it's verified. We just want to wait for the VPN to open. It should open on its own. We can always prong it to open it. And so once it's fully opened, here we go. Give it a couple of seconds. We need to immediately swipe down, turn on airplane mode, turn off the Wi-Fi. Now we're going to turn back on our router's VPN. So we'll just wait for this to connect. If it shows connected immediately, it's typically, if you have a Deco, it's a glitch. You have to close out, reopen the Deco, go back into the VPN client. See, it's actually connecting now. And so we'll wait for the VPN to show connected again. If it's stuck on connecting, we'll go out and back in, and it's still not connecting. So I'll turn it off and on. Remember, my airplane mode is on, so I'm not on Wi-Fi, so I can get away with this. We are now connected to the VPN. Great. So now, even though we're signed in with Surfshark on a router, I've noticed that I can't actually download Fortnite from Epic Games. It just blocks me. Not even the Apple block, just like, I don't know. So we actually need to sign into Surfshark on the app. So we'll log in. Do remember, once you're done with this, if you do buy Surfshark, you can always refund it, alright? So it says I'm offline, because I forgot the Wi-Fi. There we go. Took about 3 attempts. So now, from the Surfshark app, we need to connect to the same country we are using. So in my case, it's Sweden. We're going to tap Sweden. We'll tap continue. And we will allow the VPN configurations. And we're just going to patiently wait for it to connect. Now, in my case, it goes to 7 out of 8 attempts. It takes like 3 minutes before it actually connects. So as predicted, attempt 7 out of 8, and it's connected. So we now need to download Fortnite. Yes, it's that simple. So I'll leave both the AltStore PAL and the Epic Games. I've always used Epic Games because it seems to work. And before you just tap off this video, we still have this VPN here. I still have more to discuss. I will put it in the description. You want to type it out manually because you don't want to play with AirDrop. You don't want to mess around, because if this iPad connects with any of your other devices, it will tell this device, I'm not in the EU, and that won't be good. So we'll patiently wait for this website to load. Sometimes I do need to go into the private tab. So if you tap the arrow at the left, you can tap on private if it doesn't load, but it is loading, and it says iOS update required. It's not letting me in. So all we do is we tap this icon here to the left of the search bar. Then we select the triple dots, and then we request the mobile website. Now we're going to reject the cookies, and we'll tap install for the Epic Games Store. And so this should work perfectly. What it should say, it should give a message saying we need to, you see this, your installation settings on this iPad do not allow apps by Epic Games. If it says this, have a sigh of relief, you pulled it off. We still have extra steps, they're relatively simple. However, if you see this message here, so I'll show you, this is on my iPhone, which didn't do these steps. If it says cannot install app, you are not eligible. You have to factory reset your iPad right now, then you have to repeat every step from the point of the factory reset in this tutorial. You can factory reset unlimited times until you pull this off. If you do everything correctly, you'll pull this off. So keep on the VPN, keep your router on the VPN, and we'll tap on OK. Then we'll go into our settings, and we will see allow apps from the Epic Games Inc. So we're going to allow apps here. It may say more for your iPad, or it may say something else here. Tap this one. We then see allow games from the Epic Games Inc. and we will allow this one. Now we need to head back to Epic Games. We need to refresh the page, and we need to just tap the install option again. So it's loaded the page. We'll tap install, and this time it should give us the install prompt for the Epic Games. You see, Epic Games would like to install in that marketplace. We'll just tap install at marketplace. We downloaded Epic Games and we're not in the European Union. Do not update the software. So we'll head to software updates, and automatic updates is on. We need to turn this one off, because if this is on, there's a new software update, and if the software update patches this technique shown in the video, well, then there's no more Fortnite, there's no more Victory Royales. And so I'm going to load into Fortnite. You can see it's now. I just open the maps on my iPhone. You can see I'm in England. That is not a member of the EU. I brought out my Google Pixel Fold. You can see the same address, and so that's excellent. So now let's open up the Epic Games Store. We will agree, and we just want to download everything. We'll install the Fortnite. Sometimes you have to tap it multiple times. Okay, you have to like prong it. So we'll tap install app to install the Fortnite. And if we look at our home screen, Fortnite's installing, Fall Guys installing. How this works, we just want to wait for these apps to finish downloading, and we just want to open them up once. So I'm going to wait for these two. Keep on a VPN, keep on your router VPN. So once Fortnite is installed, we'll just open it. It's going to start the download. So here is the deal. The download is going to be slow because we're on a VPN. So the good news is we don't need the VPNs anymore, but there is very bad news. I know for a fact Fortnite will open without any VPNs, without any hacks for the next 90 days. I don't know if you can install updates through Fortnite without the VPN. Just make sure that you are every single time you factory reset disabling the software updates. Otherwise, you are going to be in a very big issue. Seems to kind of restored my 5-finger HUD from back in the good old days. Maybe I'll crank some 90s for... Okay, whoops.